Have you ever wondered, is separation of church and state necessary, or if it's even good? Hi, I'm Pastor Randy, and in this video, we are going to discuss why separation of church and state is necessary and good. We'll discuss governments throughout human history where religion and government were closely intertwined, and governments that are atheistic and secular. Let's get started. Why is separation of church and state necessary or good? Separation of church and state is necessary and good because men are imperfect and tend to use religion to oppress groups of people or use the people's religious convictions to appeal to their passions and prejudices and to obtain power or further their own interests. Throughout history, there have been numerous instances where religion and government were closely intertwined, often leading to significant political and social consequences. Here are some notable examples. First, ancient Egypt in the time of the pharaohs, which is a period dating back to 3100 BC to 30 BC, which was just before the birth of Jesus Christ. The pharaohs were considered divine or semi-divine figures, often viewed as gods on earth. They served as both the religious and political leaders of the state. This theocratic system reinforced the pharaoh's authority and centralized power, but also fostered a society deeply rooted in religious beliefs, rituals, and a complex pantheon of gods. Second, ancient Israel. The time we're talking about here is 1050 BC to 586 BC. It's important to note that Israel existed before it was a monarchy. If you'd like to learn more about the history of Israel, look at this video here. Kings such as Saul, David, and Solomon ruled over a unified Israel, where the worship of Yahweh or Jehovah was central. Religious laws from the Torah, that's the first 5 books of Moses, guided the nation's governance. Prophets often played key roles in advising and challenging kings, linking political leadership with religious oversight. Third, the Byzantine Empire, which was the Eastern Roman Empire. The time period for this was 330 AD to 1453 AD. Wow, that's about 1,000 years, isn't it? The Byzantine Empire saw the emperor as God's representative on earth, responsible for both the state and the church. The emperor had significant influence over church matters, including the appointment of patriarchs. The blending of church and state helped maintain a unified Christian identity, but also led to theological disputes and schisms, such as the East-West Schism in 1054 AD. This split between the East and the West was very important in the development of our society and culture today. Fourth, Holy Roman Empire. This is from 800 AD to 1806 AD. Another 1,000-year empire. The Holy Roman Emperor was often crowned by the Pope being the leader of the Roman Catholic Church, symbolizing the fusion of Christian leadership with political authority. The relationship with the papacy and the emperor was complex, often leading to power struggles such as the investiture controversy in the 11th and 12th centuries, which was a conflict over the appointment of church officials. Next, we have the medieval papal states. This from a time period of 754 AD to 1870 AD. Once again, almost another 1,000 years. The papal states were territories in the Italian peninsula under the direct sovereign rule of the Pope. The fusion of temporal and spiritual power allowed the popes to wield considerable influence in European politics. However, it also led to conflicts, such as the Protestant Reformation and the subsequent Counter-Reformation. Now we turn from the west to the east, the Islamic caliphates, from 632 AD to 1924 AD. That's 1,900 years. Caliphs were considered the successors of Prophet Muhammad, holding both religious and political authority. The caliphate system unified Muslim territories under a single leader who was responsible for implementing Islamic law, also known as Sharia. And, in case you didn't know it, the word Sharia means the way the way people are supposed to live. If you would like to learn about the differences between the way of Jesus Christ and the way of Islam, watch this video. While the early caliphates expanded rapidly, internal divisions and external pressures eventually fragmented the Muslim world. I find this very interesting, since one of the major criticisms of Christianity by both unbelievers and by the Muslims is that we have so many denominations, but Islam itself is not totally united. Next, we go back to the West again with Tudor England from 1485 AD to 1603 AD. Henry VIII's establishment of the Church of England in 1534 marked a significant fusion of church and state. The monarch became the supreme head of the church, breaking away from the Roman Catholic Church. Also, I want to point out that before the Revolutionary War that founded the United States of America, the Church of England was known as the Anglican Church. But after the Revolution, it became the Episcopal Church because America separated from England. This led to religious reforms, persecution, and conflicts, including the English Reformation and subsequent shifts between Protestantism and Catholicism. Now we're going back to the East again. Tsarist Russia from 1547 AD to 1917 AD. The Russian Orthodox Church was closely aligned with the Tsarist state. The Tsar was seen as God's appointed ruler, with the church supporting the autocratic regime. This alliance helped maintain the Tsar's authority, but also contributed to the church's subordination to state interests, as seen in the church's role in reinforcing Tsarist policies. And now we go west again, clear across the Atlantic Ocean to the United States of America, but not quite. Colonial America, the Massachusetts Bay Colony, 1628 AD to 1691. The Puritans established a theocratic society where religious leaders wielded significant political power. Laws were based on Puritan religious beliefs, and dissenters were often persecuted, as seen in the Salem witch trials. The church-state relationship in New England colonies shaped the early American experience with religious freedom and influenced the development of the First Amendment. Congress will make no law respecting an establishment of religion, nor prohibiting the free exercise thereof. Now back east again with about a 300-year difference. Modern Iran, the Islamic Republic, from 1979 to the present. The 1979 Iranian Revolution led to the establishment of an Islamic Republic, where religious leaders, particularly the supreme leader, have supreme authority. Islamic law, Sharia, remember that means the way, or at least the way for Muslims, guides the country's legal and political systems. This fusion of religion and state has led to strict enforcement of religious laws, influencing both domestic and foreign policy. And finally, Saudi Arabia, from 1932 to the present. Saudi Arabia's governance is heavily influenced by Wahhabi Islam, a strict interpretation of Sunni Islam. The monarchy upholds Islamic law as the law of the land, with religious leaders playing significant roles in government. This blend of religion and state has shaped Saudi society, including laws on gender, morality, and public behavior. These examples highlight the diverse ways in which religion and government have intertwined throughout history, often leading to profound social, cultural, and political impacts. In many cases, the fusion of religious and political authority has reinforced the power of the ruling classes, affecting individual freedoms and influencing the direction of entire civilizations. The testimony of world history is that the combination of church and state is a bad idea, resulting in violation of human rights, oppression and persecution, and oftentimes death. It is important to note that separation of church and state does not mean annihilation of church or religion by the state or substitution of religion by the state. I need to say that again. It is important to note that separation of church and state does not mean annihilation of the church or religion by the state, nor does it mean substitution of religion by the state. It simply means the state will not interfere with religion, and the church will not interfere with the state. However, that does not mean religious people cannot participate in government. They simply can't control it. But what about atheistic or secular governments? If you want to learn more about that, watch this video next.